Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the AFC Championship. Let's go. We got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to play the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams are coming off of very good wins. One was the Ravens destroying the Texans 34-10, had a phenomenal second half, which they held them scoreless when they scored, and then the Ravens scored 24 that half. They locked down C.J. Stroud's offense, mainly because of the pass rush they got in was insane, and the crowd caused a lot of pre-snap penalties because that crowd was electric and was loud, and they had like 7 of them, the Texans did. So, very good stuff for the Ravens. On the other side, you have the Chiefs winning their first road game and their first ever appearance in a road game. Patrick Mahomes has had to play in, and they barely won 27-24. A win is a win. And overall, they played a solid game around. They actually played a pretty good game all around. They played their best game when they had to. And they did. They won. Tyler Bass, I made a reaction about that. But Tyler Bass, he does not deserve any death threats like he's been getting. He missed a kick, but a lot of people messed up that game. Josh Allen missed the open guy in the flat on the drag route. They went for a fake punt at one point. They also, Diggs dropped a 65-yard pass, which would put them in field goal range way early on in the game, early on in the fourth quarter. So, yeah. But the Chiefs and Ravens, let's discuss this matchup. This is what a lot of people are calling the last hope that we have, and to just not have Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, which it is. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's going to probably win the MVP this year, deservingly so. He has beat every other MVP contender that he's been able to face. Brock Purdy beat him. Christian McCaffrey also beat him. It was the same game. But you have Tua Tagovailoa. Yes, he was MVP candidate at one point. You might want to mention that. He was. They beat him. He scored 52 on the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson did. Something very high in point total. So, stuff like that. There's going to be a reason why he's MVP. His big game performances will be the why he's an MVP. His game against the Texans is one of the other reasons why he will be MVP. Him being the first seed is another reason. But you get the point. He's a very good player, very versatile. He can run, he can throw at an elite level, and we know that. A big piece might be coming back for the Ravens this week, too. Mark Andrews. He's been out with an injury since I think the Bengals game, which has been a while ago. He's been out for a minute now. And it's big that he's coming back. Isaiah Likely's done pretty good in the meantime, but Mark Andrews is his number one guy. It's been like that, but since during this time, you have guys like Zay Flowers, you have Odell whenever he's healthy, you have Nelson Aguilar, he's catching balls now. Again, Isaiah Likely I just mentioned, and players of that nature. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Mark Andrews is able to get back into this offense if he's able to play. If not, that's also okay for them. The Ravens have been very good even without him, but he's always a nice guy to have on your team. Defensive-wise, they are loaded. Kyle Hamilton's played great. You have Roquan Smith. He's a phenomenal tackler. He's everywhere. They have very good corners. They have good linebackers. I just mentioned again Roquan Smith. A very good pressure. Get pressure. And if you look at their losses throughout the year, I'm going to look at 2 specifically. The last one against the Steelers. The Steelers were trying really hard to make the playoffs, and the Ravens benched most of their starters. So let's look at the 2 losses they had the other time that at least I will look at. You have the loss to the Browns, and you have the loss to the Steelers. Another loss. Yeah, they lost to the Steelers twice this year. Yeah. One game was because Lamar Jackson against the Steelers at Pittsburgh Stadium played horrible. Absolutely horrible. He threw a horrible interception in the end zone late in the game, which probably would have sealed the game if they just kicked a field goal. But he tried to throw up a fade, threw it completely to the left side, intercepted. Pickett makes a drive, big play to Pickens, touchdown, and then they're able to close out the game. The loss to the Browns, which was off a game-winning field goal by Dustin Hopkins, Both parties of both sides of the Ravens played a fault in that one. One, Lamar Jackson threw a pick six in the fourth quarter. Bad stuff there. But Deshaun Watson went 14 for 14 in the second half. Unbelievable stats compared to what they had to start off the game. And the Ravens had a lead at one point. They had like a 14-point lead in the first quarter, and they blew it. And the defense blew the opportunity to stop Deshaun Watson. They just couldn't stop him. This is not like a Nick Chubb team either. He was out since week 2. They just could not get to Deshaun Watson. He was 14 for 14 that second half. Unbelievable stuff. And he made Baltimore look bad defensively at Baltimore. Ever since then, I bet Baltimore's changed a bit. But that's important to know that sometimes Baltimore can give up those performances. And it's not likely, but if anyone can do it, it's Patrick Mahomes. Let's talk about Mahomes. Let's look at this Chiefs matchup. They don't have the best skill players, let's be honest. But last week, almost everyone on their skill position played very good. Rashee Rice played good. He played good against the Dolphins. He got a touchdown. I'm pretty sure he did, yeah. And almost 100 yards. Travis Kelce got 2 touchdowns last week. And you have Marquez Valdes-Scantling actually catching deep balls. He caught like 2 or 3 20, 30-yard passes. That's rare. That does not happen for him. He does not catch those. He drops them a lot. Only guy who sucked last week for the Chiefs, in my opinion, was Mecole Hardman. That man should be on the bench because he took over whatever Kadarius Toney was doing, and he made it his own because he had one catch for 2 yards and 2 fumbles. One of them was out the end zone, which gave the Bills life again in that game, and the other one, they barely recovered. The Chiefs barely recovered. So he had the same amount of yards as he had fumbles. That is something I only thought Kadarius Toney could do, but I guess Mecole Hardman can do the same. So probably not work with him a lot. Isaiah Pacheco, great running game. He had a very good running game overall. When they needed plays, they got them. Defensively, the Chiefs played very well too. Coverage was very good. They held Josh Allen in check, made him take checkdowns whenever they had to take the checkdowns. They were able to wrap up well. Chris Jones got good pressure. Nice, good thing for the Chiefs to see that. And yeah, they made overall very good plays. And it'll be interesting to see if they're able to continue that against Baltimore because they were able to have those long drives, but they got the score. Not really long drives, but 7-8 play drives for touchdowns. A lot of them with the Travis Kelce. Some of them were busted coverages. That's something Baltimore's usually good at covering. The good thing is their communication on the defensive end. They're able to know what they need to do on the defense, which is something that Buffalo struggled in that game. Also, Buffalo had a lot of injuries. Got to take that into consideration. They did not have their best guys at some positions out there. But you kind of have to look at Baltimore and be like, okay, they seem a little bit more healthy than Buffalo's defenses. Now, what can Kansas City do to win this game? One, Patrick Mahomes has to play a very good game. Very good game. No turnovers, and I'd say over 300 yards. Very efficient, over 70% pass completion percentage, 2 or 3 touchdowns. That will win. That will probably win you the game. That will probably do, because your defense is very good. The Chiefs is very good defensively. And they also, they have a very good special teams. Good special teams unit. But the run game, if Mahomes is doing that good on the offense, passing-wise, then the run game should be open. The Ravens stopped the run game completely from the Texans, and then made Stroud have to throw. A lot of pre-snap penalties put him in bad situations. A lot of bad blocking put him in even worse situations. And yeah, Chiefs, though, been here and done that. They blocked pretty well, but they also started the game running the ball pretty good. So if they can run the ball well, the throwing game will be wide open. But if they can start off throwing the ball well, then the running game will be wide open. So it'll be interesting to see how they look. They can't have any drops. Can't even have bad drops. Baltimore, got to see how Lamar Jackson can do running out the pocket. He got to. He's got to be able to move. Got to be able to move out. I think he will be able to. He has no reason not to move out the pocket. That's when he's at his best, and he should do that, and he probably will. Defensively, you're not going to have that type of game that you had against Brock Purdy. I doubt Mahomes is going to throw more than even 2 interceptions. not let alone 4. He's not going to do that. He's too experienced. He's too good of a player to do that. But that doesn't mean you can't guard these receivers, because the 49ers have a way better receiving core than the Chiefs. Just the Chiefs have a way better quarterback, in my opinion. Brock Purdy isn't bad at all, but they made him look bad. Kyle Hamilton especially, because he had 2 of those interceptions. Very good plays by him. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works. Kelsey, they got to be able to guard him, but Rashee Rice might be the X factor in this game for the Chiefs. Got to make big plays. Got to make them when it matters the most. And for Baltimore, I would like to see what they do in the red zone. That's one thing to do. When they played the Texans had to respect the run game because they were running very well, and that led to Isaiah Likely, Nelson Aguilar getting open for touchdowns. So what they can do there will make a huge difference. They got possibly the 2 best kickers in the league, or 2 of the better ones, at least consistently. And so I'm probably going to have to worry about that. I'm interested to see how this game's going to play out. Obviously, it should be a close one. Mahomes games and the AFC title game are usually pretty close. But can Baltimore get it done? They've not made a title game since 2012. They've had their chances. The Chiefs have made it to like 6 or 7 straight AFC title games. It's insane. Ever since Mahomes has been a starter, he's been in the championship game, conference championship game. If I have to pick a score, I think it's gonna be closer to what Buffalo and Kansas City was, rather than what Baltimore did to Houston. I'll give the score being 24-21. Yeah, 24-21. Let's go with 20. Not 20. Let's go 24-20. Let's go with that. I got Baltimore in this one. I think Baltimore won this one. I think defensively they'll get the big enough stops. I think they might be able to make some plays. The Chiefs have a tendency to fumble in big plays. Not Mahomes, their receiving core. They tend to mess up when it matters the most. And there's drops, there's just literal fumbles, dumb plays, lining up offsides, whatever. That happens. So they got to work on that. But Baltimore, this is your main chance. You got to do it. Lamar Jackson, if you don't do it here, you might never have another opportunity like this. Got to do it now. Because next year, Joe Burrow will be back. You got a lot of the quarterbacks coming back. You don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. You don't know what's going to happen with these other guys. You don't know. This is your year. Got to do it. And also, one of the reasons why I'm picking this, because you said Super Bowl logo. See, like the past 2 years, the color of it before the season, like it's been the matchup colors of the games. You have the Ravens colors are on it, and the 49ers colors are on it. That'd be a fun matchup. But we'll discuss NFC title game stuff in another video. And yeah, that's my perspective on this game. I could definitely see Kansas City possibly pulling it out. But I got Lamar. I got Baltimore in this one. I think they'll make enough big plays when they have to. And mainly, they won't hurt themselves like Kansas City quite have in their skill positions. So, yeah. Give your opinion in the comments about this and all of that. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And God bless y'all.